Well, Doug Marrone on your right, second full season since taking over as Jacksonville head coach in December of 2016, and Mike Vrabel getting the monkey off his back as they got him his first victory as an NFL head coach. And it'll be a fun chess match between those two. Tennessee has won the toss. They elect to defer, and Jacksonville will receive the football to get the party started. There is Ryan Succop, one of the heroes for Tennessee last week. The game-tying field goal in the fourth quarter early, and then the game winner with about a minute left as they were able to beat Houston without their quarterback, without their top three offensive tackles. What a big victory that was for Tennessee. Can they do it again here against the Jaguars team that has been red hot? 7 straight wins in this stadium. Haven't lost here since week 6 of last season, a loss to the Rams. Jaden Mickens watches it go through the end zone as Blake Bortles onto the field. Bortles absolutely surgical last week in the first half, outdueling Tom Brady. Threw for 377 yards, 5th time in his career he threw for at least 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, and they opted to attack the New England Patriots with a pass-first offense. They got out to a great start. The question is here, can they back it up? Bortles has had some big games in the past, but to be consistent, can he do it from week to week?
Corey Grant is on the field starting at running back on their first play from scrimmage. Quick strike to Keelan Cole, who was terrific last week. 7 catches for 116 yards. Picks up 11, and just like that, a first down for Jacksonville. Now, the big story today, 2 new starters up front. We know that Cam Robinson, their left tackle, is done for the season with the ACL. A.J. Cann, their right guard, is out today, Adam, with a tricep injury. So Chris Reed makes his first career start at right guard. Something to keep in mind against this defensive front for Tennessee, led by Jarrell Casey, who, by the way, had 2 sacks last week. They keep it on the ground here to Grant. But that's a big deal. Of course, no Cam Robinson. They know that Wells is their guy, but now down 2 starters with Chris Reed up.
Yeah, the offensive line arguably has been the strength of the offense. They've only been able to pressure teams, Blake Bortles, 10 times, and have only given up 1 sack. Now, this is going to be the most talented defensive front that they have faced yet this season. So those guys have to be able to step up and protect their quarterback.
Bortles on second down, protected well over the middle. That's Dante Moncrief inside Tennessee territory. It's another Jaguars first down, forced out of bounds by Logan Ryan after a pickup of 13.
The thing that stands out, Spiro, when you watch this offense is the vertical throwing by Bortles, but also all the shallow crossing. They killed that New England secondary last week with crossers, shallow crossers, underneath 5 yards. Deep crossers. That is the second best throw that Bortles has next to his ability to throw the ball deep outside.
What an offseason acquisition by David Caldwell, the GM of Jacksonville, to bring in Dante Moncrief. Also Austin Seferian-Jenkins, who already has paid dividends for Jacksonville 2 games into the season. Play clock down to 1. Not sure if Bortles saw it here. And now a penalty marker thrown. This will be a delay of game.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Adam, that's on the quarterback.
It is, and he saw something that he liked from the Tennessee defense, and something he's been doing a lot more of this season, changing the play at the line of scrimmage. When it works, but you always have to be cognizant of where the play clock is.
So the penalty marks him back to their 42-yard line. Here's Bortles, steps up in the pocket, and he is sacked. Wesley Woodyard able to get him around the ankles. Bortles so good with that escapability, but Woodyard was better on that play.
This is what they were concerned about. Anytime that Bortles gets on the outside, he has that scrambling ability to break the pocket and hurt the defense. This is maybe the biggest thing that they talked about in our meetings. They cannot allow Bortles to make plays and extend the drive with using his legs. That time, Woodyard, an athletic linebacker, spied him and played it perfectly.
There's Bortles again, that little sidearm delivery. It'll be a minimal pickup here to Austin Seferian-Jenkins, the first-year Jacksonville Jaguar. It's a pickup of 5 here, and that'll set up a 3rd down coming up as we hit the 12-minute mark of the quarter.
Here's what they want to avoid. I mentioned how talented the Tennessee front is. Jarrell Casey, Brian Arakpo, Derek Morgan. Watch out for the rookie, Harold Landry, who came in the game last week against the Houston Texans and terrorized their right tackle. But this is the position that Titans want to be in with those talented rushers up front.
Jaguars were so good on third down last week. Tough one here, 3rd and 14. Bortles pass low. Looking again in the direction of Moncrief, incomplete. Adoree Jackson, who had some big moments here. That big punt return for a touchdown in Tennessee's Week 2 win here in Jacksonville last season, was there on the coverage.
Well, you can see protection center. Not a lot of this last week. This was only a 2-man route. They kept the back and the tight end ready for the pressure from Tennessee. And what that does, it allows you to play more aggressively on the outside because you have help from the other defensive backs.
Logan Cook, young man Jacksonville took in the 7th round of the draft, punting here. Jackson watches it bounce into the end zone as the Titans will have it from their own 20. 52 yards in the punt by Cook. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Blaine Gabbert, who entered the league as a 21-year-old rookie with the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2011, was the 10th overall pick. First time back in this stadium, first time in Jacksonville period since he was traded to Arizona in March of 2014. Unemotional in our conversation with him last night about his return. He has tried to keep it business-like. Of course, the status of Marcus Mariota, a huge story all week. He is active and available as you see him on the sideline. First play from scrimmage for Tennessee from their own 20. And this is Yulee native Derrick Henry making another homecoming. Grew up about a 25-mile drive from where we are here in Jacksonville. A pickup of 3. As you see some of the starters up front, we mentioned the big story, the return of Taylor Lewan, their left tackle, out last week with a concussion. Huge news for Gabbert.
Yeah, could not get Taylor Lewan back at a better time, going up against a talented Jacksonville front, not only to protect Blaine Gabbert in his blind side against Yannick Ngakoue, but his value to their running game as their best run blocker over on that edge cannot be overstated.
Gabbert, quick drop, and that pass is incomplete. Intended for the tight end Luke Stocker, who appears to be hurt. See him grabbing at his midsection. And quickly the athletic trainers for the Titans come onto the field. Well, keep in mind, Tennessee already shorthanded. The devastating loss of Delanie Walker to that gruesome ankle injury in the opener in Miami. So Stocker, their tight end, as they continue to take a look at him.
Yeah, it's hard to see exactly what happened. The rookie safety, Ronnie Harrison, who's playing that big nickel as the extra defensive back, just kind of landed on him. And it's really hard to see, but tight ends, which of course coming into this season was such a huge strength. The importance of Delanie Walker and what he brought to this offense is, Mariota's most trusted receiver out there, and also, his effort and what he does is part of the run game. So now you have 2 of your tight ends out, which only leaves you with Jonnu Smith and McCole Pruitt. It's going to affect the Tennessee Titans in the multiple tight end sets that they like to employ, especially when they play the Jaguars. And Ngakoue is standing up, not at his normal right defensive end spot.
3rd and 7. Gabbert buried. Calais Campbell getting there for Jacksonville.
Absolutely overpowered the inside triangle, and Ngakoue standing up. But look at the strength and the power of their captain, number 93, just powers up inside. Ben Jones kicked over to the left side to try and protect that inside gap, and they did not squeeze down on Calais Campbell, and he comes up with a huge sack.
Campbell, the NFL's reigning defensive player of the year, finished 2nd in the league last season with 14.5 sacks. That is his 2nd already here in 2018. The punt by Kern out of bounds, and we'll see where the officials will mark it here. It will be good field position to start for Jacksonville right around their own 40-yard line. 45 yards of the punt. Kern just did not get much leg on it. What a start for Jacksonville's defense.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM. Verizon, the best unlimited is on Verizon, America's most awarded network. And by Ford, going further so you can.
Well, the annual Dragon Boat Festival on the St. John's River just outside the stadium here in Jacksonville. The festival, an annual fundraiser, all proceeds benefiting people with cancer in the community here in northern Florida. Great charitable effort. As we get a look at Blake Bortles' second offensive possession of the day for Jacksonville. First and 10 from right around their own 40. Here is Yeldon making the start for a second straight week. As we told you at the top, no Leonard Fournette. He's out with a hamstring injury. They were hoping to have him back. He is getting closer. And we asked Kevin Byard about facing the Jags, Adam, with and without Fournette. And he said something interesting. When Fournette's playing, you know he's going to touch it 20 to 25 times. When he's not, you really don't know what to expect.
Yeah, as safety, if you know what's going to come, you can get yourself up for that. You know it's going to be a physical game, but it's kind of the unknown element when he doesn't play that makes you a little nervous.
That pass from Bortles intended for Safarian Jenkins and broken up by the back end of that secondary. And now look, some interesting numbers for Jacksonville with and without Fournette. We know that Bortles' numbers, as you see at the bottom, have been good. I don't think anyone who knows the sport thinks that they're better without Fournette, but there's something to what Byard said, and you know better than most, having played that position.
It is, because you know how important he is and what he does for the offense, but you just can't ignore those kind of numbers. It's pretty remarkable when you kind of look at it.
Again, third down where they were so effective last week in the win here over the Patriots. 3rd and 4. Bortles steps up, hit on the release, and it's incomplete. Intended for D.D. Westbrook, who had the late touchdown catch last week. Bortles knew he was going to get hit, and that pressure is going to be a big story today from Tennessee.
It's going to be their best weapon to try and stop this passing game. They force Bortles to get out of it quickly, throw the ball quickly. Derek Morgan coming on the inside, and he's just not able to step up. So far, you've really got to like the energy and the enthusiasm and the way that Mike Vrabel's defense has come out and try and stop the Jaguars on offense.
There's another fake punt. We saw it last week. Trying to find the edge. That's Corey Grant. Needed the 50 for the first down. Tennessee ran it against Houston last week. They get a taste of their own medicine. They were ready for it. And it was Brendan Trowick there, as was Javon Brown for the tackle.
Really a nice look, Spiro, by Craig Ackerman's special team unit, showing an all-out pump block. But instead of rushing, the rookie out of Arizona, Dane Cruikshank, he drops back. He drops back as if they knew exactly what was coming. He's the first penetrator, and that allows the rest of the Titans' special teams unit to rally up and make the tackle. Just an excellent job of preparation for the second week in a row. Cruikshank, the rookie, making an impact play.
AFC Special Teams Player of the Week. He caught the touchdown on the fake punt last week. Also had a couple of special teams tackles. Maybe the special teams player of the season so far through a couple of weeks of the season. That is Derrick Henry, minimal pickup. Again, grew up about a 25-mile drive from where we are here. Legendary high school career at Yulee High School as a Hornet. Rushed for over 12,000 yards in his high school career, breaking a 51-year national high school record. Playing in front of about 50 family and friends today. On 2nd and 8, here is Henry again. Cuts back, and Henry tackled from the back by Ngakoue. After a pickup of 2, this kid Ngakoue just so athletic and so freakishly good for a guy his size.
Really is. And check out the effort on Taylor Lewan. This is to the backside. Starts out as a front side play, but he's able to shed Lewan, and his sheer speed and athletic ability, he's able to get to the running back before he's able to do something. What an athletic talent on that backside.
On 3rd and 6, Gabbert going to throw it, he completes. That's a first down catch. We'll see where the officials mark it here. Taywan Taylor on the catch. As Gabbert with the quick strike, and it is a Tennessee first down, a pickup of 8.
You know Gabbert is capable of this. He's got a good arm, stack release, which means off coverage, And Gabbert, because of his timing, getting that ball out, delivers it before Boye is able to make a play.
Gabbert, little bootleg action, throws in the run too high that time, and it falls incomplete. And look, say what you want about Gabbert, his shortcomings as a quarterback over the years certainly didn't pan out here in Jacksonville after they took him 10th overall. But all you want from your backup is to give you a chance to win, something he did for him last week.
Well, he's smart. He loves football. He loves to prepare. He's got a good, strong, accurate arm. The only thing is that he hasn't quite been able to deal with a great amount of pressure. And he doesn't throw the ball downfield and take enough chances downfield to get those explosive plays. They want to move the ball today. They're going to have to test the Jacksonville secondary downfield.
Gabbert from the gun this time, again under pressure, escapes for a moment, and he is sacked. Telvin Smith.
Second time blown protection. No backs in the backfield, and the tight end, Jonnu Smith, is releasing. Gabbert tries to get the ball on a hot route, but his receivers aren't looking, and that's an easy sack for the athletic Telvin Smith coming off the edge.
First sack of the season for Smith, and as good as he has been, it's only the 7.5 sack of his 5-year career.
Last third down, Todd Wash brought a pressure inside and was able to beat the protection to get to Gabbert, this time looking like he's going to come with just 4.
Play clock winding down to 0, but it looks like Tennessee did call for timeout, so they saved the penalty.
30-second timeout.
Mike
Tennessee.
Vrabel barking it from the sidelines. I had a chance to visit with Vrabel last night, and they are businesslike. They get the big win last week, and they knew the quarterback situation was up in the air with Mariota last week. The fake punt, the wildcat, something that, by the way, they didn't put in until the day before that game against Houston last week. Hadn't run it in practice of the preseason. He knew they had to get creative, and they did last week.
Well, not only the quarterback, but now their top 3 tackles are out. Conklin recovering from the ACL. Dennis Kelly, late in the week, gets sick, and he can't play. And so they kind of had to come together as a staff and say, look, we've got to do some things here to kind of help our team out. We've got to win unconventionally. Got a huge, huge special teams play and put a few wrinkles in their offense. Now, they still can get in field goal position. Be alert for screens right here if you're Jacksonville.
Career-long field goal for Ryan Suckup, 54 yards. 3rd and 19. Gabbert again sacked. Football came loose. Boy, Gabbert looks like he is shaken up. It was Campbell who got to him first. Fowler with the recovery. There is a marker thrown. But Gabbert now with his helmet off, still not onto his feet. Oh, and this could get very interesting now here for Tennessee with Mariota now starting to get up and warm here. Hasn't played since going down in week 1 with that right elbow injury. But maybe pressed into action here for the Titans.
Prior to the fumble, personal foul, defense number 97, lowering the head to initiate contact. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic, first down.
That's Malik Jackson, the man penalized, but the bigger story here is Blaine Gabbert. Adam, you have to think he's going to come out here for a couple of plays. Of course, with such a focus on the head injuries and the concussions.
He started off looking to his left side, pulled it down, but then Calais Campbell wrapping around. You see the shot coming in there from Malik Jackson. I don't know if he actually did he hit Gabbert in the head?
It was Jackson who came in from the right of your picture from that vantage point.
But the offensive line just got overwhelmed. Look at that hit again from Jackson coming in. He lowers the helmet. You do see that it catches the face mask of Gabbert. A lot of people here in this stadium and people at home, Jacksonville fans, are groaning at that. But they will throw the flag if you lower the helmet and you initiate contact to the quarterback's helmet, especially when we're talking about the quarterback. It's an impossible situation for defensive players, and you really can't fault them, but that's the way the league has turned to.
So here is Mariota, did not play last week. although he was active against Houston. Takes over from inside the 30 on a 1st and 10. Run play call. This is Lewis. Spinning away initially, but wrapped up by Calais Campbell. Mariota has complained of numbness in a couple of fingers of his throwing hand. Still not quite full strength, but pressed into a very tough set of circumstances here, Adam, against Jacksonville.
And it's not a pain issue, it's a nerve issue, and it affects the way he grips the football. There's only a few throws that he could make confidently. I would suspect this is going to seriously hamper their ability to throw the ball down the field. They will stay conservative with Mariota.
Little pitch play to Lewis again. Lewis finding the edge, still going. What a run by Lewis, getting close to the 20, tackled by Telvin Smith. It's a pickup of 8. Well, this was Mariota in the pregame. You see what they've done with that glove that he wears on the throwing hand. He's the thumb, the index, and the middle fingers to try to help him with feeling of the football.
Yeah, it's all about his grip and his ability to confidently throw the football down the field. He has experienced numbness in that right hand, and the ball has not been able to come out consistently during practice.
Third and 2. Mariota, quick strike. It is broken up, incomplete. Intended for Rashard Matthews to Sean Gibson, former Pro Bowler with Cleveland, who's been so good for this defense since coming over a couple of years ago. Was there for the breakup and nearly had the pick.
And there was a window right there. I thought that Rashard Matthews was able to get his hands off it, but this is a fast breaking secondary, aggressive secondary that is adept at reading the quarterback's eyes and making plays on the ball.
So here is Suckup. Was so good in the win over Houston last week, the game winner with a minute left in the 4th. He'll try here from 39 yards out. Has hit 47 straight field goals from inside of 40. That's the longest active streak in the league, and it continues. So Tennessee losing its quarterback Blaine Gabbert. Marcus Mariota comes in, stabilizes them for a moment, and gets Tennessee on the board first.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by NFL Sunday Ticket, only on DirecTV. And by Pizza Hut, official pizza sponsor of the NFL.
Well, here's Blaine Gabbert now being escorted into the Tennessee locker room. As they will take a closer look, you see the independent head specialist from the league in the red hat escorting him inside. They will take a look at him and run him through the gamut of tests. And so for the moment, it is Marcus Mariota back up. And boy, what a crazy start to the season for Tennessee. That nearly 7-hour game in week 1 in Miami. Mariota gets hurt. Gabbert goes down today. The craziness of their win last week over Houston. And more drama here in Jacksonville. Here is Mickens. Crosses the 25 and out close to the 27-yard line. We'll try to get an update on Gabbert as quickly as we can, as Mickens with a 26-yard return. Up tomorrow on CBS, one name says it all. Magnum PI. Don't miss the series premiere tomorrow, 9, 8 Central, only CBS. So here is Bortles. He and the Jaguars still looking for their first points here as we play with under 5 minutes left in the quarter. Quick strike, little screen pass near side. Westbrook had the big touchdown on the 61-yard catch and run last week that really was the game sealer against New England.
It's pretty amazing, this wide receiver group coming into this year. Really unheralded and really inexperienced. Not a lot of big names. You know, we've heard about Allen Robinson and Allen Hurns and all those guys, but here's a bunch of guys that just haven't really been able to play a lot, but have made a huge impact and contribution to their offense so far in the first 2 games.
Bortles on 2nd and 3, hands off to Grant here. And Grant, of course, put himself on the map last year with that performance against New England in the AFC Championship game, and now some pushing and shoving. Looked like Dede Westbrook and Logan Ryan who have to be untangled by the officials. And it will be 3rd and 1 coming up. So much talk about Jacksonville and this defense, Adam, and rightfully so. This Tennessee defense has been very good over the first couple of weeks.
They've done a lot of good things on tape. The two things that stand out in talking to the coaching staff, got to be better against the run. They've let a few big runs come out, and then their ability to defend the deep ball when teams have thrown downfield. 3
tight ends set. Bortles. Little QB sneak has the first down and more, close to the 37-yard line, a pickup of 3. First update of the day, back to New York and JP.
And first quarter points, Phil.
Yeah, the first lead for the for the Buffalo Bills all year long. That's Josh Allen, throws it to Jason Kroom for a 26-yard touchdown. Buffalo all over Minnesota, 17-0.
Back to Spiro and Adam.
All right, Buffalo looking to avoid their first 0-3 start, as you see, in 8 years. Looking for a win here in week 3. Here's Bortles, little underneath play. That's the wide receiver, Keelan Cole, his second reception of the afternoon. And Adam, you mentioned the wide receivers, such a change, really night and day in that room than what they've had. This is the way they started last year. Of course, Allen Robinson, the knee injury, week 1 was lost for the season, but an entirely different group that Bortles has to throw to so far.
It really is, and that's what was so impressive about what happened last week, because they went after New England, and it was a lot of those guys that don't have a lot of experience that were making big plays for Bortles in the offense.
Here's Grant on 2nd and 5, and really that makes what Bortles has done even more impressive. He hasn't had a chance to build chemistry with those players, and to have the success he's had just 2 weeks into the season, I think speaks volumes of these young receivers, and also, of course, where Bortles is his 5th year in the league. What does Nathaniel Hackett dial up here on 3rd and 3? Hackett, who basically last week called the game of his life. Such a perfect offensive game plan against New England.
Tennessee has to be alert for the underneath and the shallow crossers in this situation. Looks like they're just going to rush 4. Jarrell Casey standing up over the center.
Bortles barely gets the play off in time. Throws far side, too high and incomplete. Overthrowing Cole. So the accuracy for Bortles not there on that play, and Jacksonville will punt. And a ragged start, despite some pretty good starting field position for the Jaguars.
You've got to take advantage. That's the difference. Last week, those throws, and that's a routine throw. That is a 5-yard out, and his receiver was wide open. You've got to be able to consistently make those throws to keep your drive moving.
Here's Logan Cook, 6 of his 11 punts inside the 20. Tied for 2nd most in the league. Entering week 3, and this one is perfectly placed inside the 5. James O'Shaughnessy able to get to it, 52 yards. Tough starting field position for Marcus Mariota in Tennessee. If you've just joined us, Blaine Gabbert taking a shot to the head. He's being looked at in the Tennessee locker room. Still no official update on him. So Marcus Mariota, who did not play last week with a right elbow injury, on the field for his 2nd offensive possession. 1st and 10 from inside the 5. Play action. Mariota's going to tuck it away, run for it. Asks for the lead block. He gets it. 1st down and more. What a play by Mariota, forced out of bounds by Telvin Smith. It's a pickup of 13 as they move the sticks.
Well, what a huge play from Mariota. Play action pass. The Jaguars zone blocking perfectly, and he does what he has to do to get out of jail. Great block by his tight end out there, Luke Stalker, and that gives him the edge to give this offense a little bit of breathing room. I wouldn't be surprised here coming up in the next few plays if we don't see Derrick Henry make an appearance in the Wildcat.
Some movement pre-snap on the right side of the
false start.
Offensive line.
Offense number 66. 5-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
That's Kevin Pamphile, who started last week at left tackle for Taylor Lewan. He's at right tackle today for Jack Conklin, who is still not ready to come back from the ACL injury.
They're much better suited over there on that right side. Had some trouble last week against that Houston Texans pass rush, but Jacksonville has players littered across this defensive line that can attack every spot on the offensive line.
Corey Davis in motion, 1st and 15. Pocket collapses, Mariota tripped up for a moment, trying to find the outside and runs out of bounds right around the 15-yard line. What a play by Mariota just to make it positive yardage on the play. A.J. Boye was finally there, able to evade the sack and picks up 4, as that should do it for the first quarter. Wild opening 15 minutes here at Jacksonville. Titans 3, Jaguars nothing on CBS. Back with you in Jacksonville as we get set for the start of the second quarter. Tennessee with the early 3-0 lead. Spiro Dedes and Adam Archuleta with you. Already an injury to Blaine Gabbert. He is being looked at, by the way, for a concussion. That is the official word from Tennessee. What have you seen so far?
What a wild start for Vrabel and his Tennessee team. Adversity at all stops. I think the one thing is they didn't expect to have Mariota in this game. That wasn't the plan. So you got to ask yourself first, how do we protect him? How do we make sure he doesn't get hit? The other thing is, what kind of throws can he confidently make against a secondary that loves to pick off passes downfield?
One play called on 2nd and long with Dion Lewis. Well, it's one thing to come back against a defense. It's another thing to come back against this defense for Mariota.
The defensive line is fired up. I think they have completely swarmed and overwhelmed Tennessee's offensive line, which is a really good offensive line, but Gabbert didn't really have a chance. He had people in his face on almost every drop back.
3rd and 6, Mariota well protected here, and he fires, and it's incomplete. In and out of the hands of Tajay Sharp, and that is a killer as Mariota delivered a strike.
Wide receivers have to step up. I mean, this ball, it does not get any easier than that. The question is, does he secure it long enough? I don't think that's going to end up being a overturned for a complete pass, but that's 2 balls now. We've had wide open Tennessee receivers that had a chance to extend the drive but could not come down with a catch. They've got to make more plays outside.
Sharp, who missed all of last season due to injury, we'll be thinking about that one. Here is Mickens walking a tightrope along the sideline and brought down at around the 38-yard line after a 54-yard punt. Well, on Tuesday, September the 11th, Jacksonville players, including Blake Bortles, hosted a First Responders Appreciation event. Bortles, along with select teammates and local first responders, played games with kids while discussing their role in the First Coast community. Nice job by Bortles and Jacksonville as they continue to be very active in this community. Well, can this Jacksonville offense get something going here? Bortles so far just 5 of 9 for 40 yards. Only 3 first downs so far. Here's Yeldon. Bouncing to the outside. Yeldon, first down and more. It's a pickup of 13. Kenny Vaccaro finally able to step up and force him out of bounds.
You've got to be able to make this play. You are the extra hitter in the run front. It's designed to get kicked out there to the cornerback, and you've got to be able to come up there and hit the outside leg of TJ Yeldon. You have no chance of stopping the run if your free players can't come up and make the play.
That gets them into Titans field territory. Here is Grant. Well played by Ryan, stepping up. That's the kind of tackle you want to see from your secondary players as they dump him after a gain of 3.
Yeah, he knows. He knows what happened on that last play. But that's how you come up and you attack somebody in space. You go at the outside leg, you make contact with the thigh board, and you get him down to the ground. Perfectly played against Grant, who is starting to show himself as a pretty shifty, elusive runner when he gets out in the open field.
6 catches for Grant last week against New England, nearly 60 yards through the air. Here is Brandon Wilds, who was up today, called up from their practice squad due to the absence of Leonard Fournette for a 2nd straight week. And Wilds getting a chance for Doug Marrone early in this game.
Yeah, it's one thing going back to that big run by Jacksonville that Mike Vrabel really lamented in our meetings was the fact that They've got to get better at stopping the run. Coming into this game, 26th on defense against the run, and they've been really good here in the last 2 years. That's been one of their strong points, but it's been little mistakes like that that have led to big plays.
Bortles delivering, first down catch. Westbrook inside the 35-yard line, tackled by Malcolm Butler. It's a pickup of 7. Bortles knew exactly where he was going and delivered a strike.
Really nice. It was kind of a pick play on the outside where they had a vertical receiver that occupied both defensive backs. They could not get over the top. You're going to see it right here, causing traffic, and it's a wide open Westbrook in the flat. Nice play design and execution from Jacksonville.
Here's Yeldon as he will inch closer to around the 33-yard line. And you know, look, we've known how good this Jacksonville defense has been at him the last couple of years. This could very well be their best defense ever, but the reason why they're so excited about this team and talking about them as possibly a contender in the AFC has been the resurgence and the development of Blake Bortles.
But without a doubt, you know, they are last week. Can they continue that success against the Titans?
Play action pass. Bortles goes underneath to Yeldon, and his forward momentum kind of takes him out of bounds in an awkward looking play on the sideline. And that'll set up a third down coming up. You know, lest we forget, it was just last season when Bortles had to basically win the job all over again. He struggled in camp. And after 2 weeks of the preseason, Doug Marrone reopened the starting quarterback job between Bortles and Henne. Bortles obviously won it. And it was really the last quarter of the season where he really took that next step and had that terrific run through the postseason. Bortles on 3rd and 5, start on delivery. It is caught right over the middle at the 24-yard line. It is right at the first down marker. Safarian Jenkins on the catch, and that is enough for a Jacksonville first down.
What a catch in traffic between both Tennessee Titan linebackers. Wesley Woodyard and Jayon Brown closed on this and played it almost perfectly. Jayon Brown was just a second late, but what a nice job of making a big play and knowing that you're going to get hit.
Bortles pass incomplete. DJ Chark Jr., the second-round pick out of Louisiana State, who last week lost the fumble on his first NFL catch. And a drop here on one he should have had.
Yeah, you see him, he let the ball get to his chest. He didn't extend his hands out, and that's what happens. You know, that's a technique you learn early on when you're playing wide receiver. He just didn't use his hands well enough away from his body, and it bounced off his chest plate.
Here's Westbrook. You see the marker thrown from the top of your screen as Westbrook is tackled right around the 20. Logan Ryan and Vaccaro combining on the tackle. Our referee today is Sean Smith.
Holding, offense number 10. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay second down.
Smith, one of the first-year referees in the league. That's Dante Moncrief on the penalty.
Now, number 10 right to the left side of your screen. You see his right hand holding the shoulder pad out there. I think that's on Adoree Jackson. Easy call. Excuse me, it's on Logan Ryan. Easy call outside. Pushes the Jaguars back.
Bortles again from the gun. This is 2nd and 20. Slinging it near side, and that is incomplete. Off the hands of Keelan Cole. Well, the sun is definitely a factor, but
I mean, it's both teams. You've seen the problems that Tennessee has had on their third downs, and here back-to-back 2 times on just this drive. Keelan Cole, who I think showed everybody last week what kind of hands he has on this team, cannot come down with the ball. All receivers in this game. In case of the drops.
Just unacceptable from these wide receivers. 10th play of the drive. Bortles running. Probing the defense. Nowhere to go with it down the field on 3rd and 20. So Woodyard forces him out of bounds. And good coverage down the field by that Tennessee secondary. It's a pickup of 5.
I think that's a case right there where Bortles knows that it's third and extremely long. He's not going to take a chance, so he's going to scramble and pick up some extra yardage to give them a shot at a field goal. It's one place where he's really improved, his situational awareness, knowing when to run the ball, knowing how to check in and out of plays. It's a good job right there.
Josh Lambo, who's hit 14 straight field goals, on here from 46, and he is narrowly just inside that right upright. So finally, Jacksonville on the board, and we are tied at 3 on CBS. Jacksonville's scoring drive, their first points of the day, 11 plays, 34 yards. As they just have not been able to take advantage of some very good starting field position so far in this first half. Field goal by Josh Lambo, getting them on the board as we are all tied at 3. Spiro Ditas, Adam Archuleta, our producer Seller Shai, Jim Cornell, our director, rest of our terrific CBS crew here from Jacksonville. Big matchup in the AFC South. Tennessee, who swept Jacksonville last season, including a big win here in week 2. Adam, take me into the mind of Matt LaFleur. He's their first-year offensive coordinator. First year he's calling plays in the NFL, but he knows Marcus Mariota is still not at full strength. Didn't get a full allotment of reps in practice this week. Has to affect the play calling.
Yeah, and he's learned under what I think are two of the best in the modern game, Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay, at designing offenses, developing quarterbacks, and creating matchups. And because of all the injuries and the uncertainty and all the different moving parts in their offense, he just hasn't had a chance to put it all together and develop his quarterback. It's been a tough road for the Titans on offense.
Pitch play to Henry, who's been quiet so far. And Henry is tackled by Tashawn Gibson. LaFleur is only 38 years old. He actually interviewed for the head coaching position with John Robinson, Tennessee's GM, before Vrabel was hired, and Robinson was able to convince him to come over to be the offensive coordinator. But this kid has been on the fast track. You mentioned Shanahan and McVay. Very excited about his future as a coach.
Yeah, and I think Mike Vrabel recognized that with a quarterback who has the tools of Mariota, that you need somebody who is new and current and can adapt and can develop these guys. And I think Matt LaFleur is one of those guys that can follow in the footsteps of the coaches that he's been under.
Play action from Mariota as Jacksonville continues to come with the pressure. Tyler Patman was right in his face. Update time, JP and Phil.
Surprise of the day so far.
No, the shock of the day. That's what it is. Josh Allen, QB sneak, 2 touchdowns rushing, 1 passing. Buffalo has scored 23 points all year. Today, 24-0 over the Minnesota Vikings. Back to Spiro and Adam.
Unbelievable. Allen, inspired by what he saw perhaps from Baker Mayfield on Thursday night. 3rd and 7. Low pass. Was it caught? No signal yet. Now they say incomplete. It was Corey Davis, the intended receiver. And both quarterbacks having issues with chemistry with their wide receivers. That was a tougher catch.
Yeah, they've been able to find some windows and some opportunities. That ball is low and inside, but again, I've got to believe Corey Davis was the 5th pick in the draft last season, a #1 wide receiver. You've got to be able to make those tough catches. His receivers have not helped him out today on 3rd down.
Mariota so far is 0 for 4 to start, but multiple drops, as Adam just alluded to, and a tough start as they are forced to punt. Mickens is going to play it from inside his own 20. And brought down after a return of 7. Will Compton on the tackle. It's a 54-yard punt by Brett Kern. Now a late flag is thrown just behind where Mickens was tackled. Again, our official today, our referee is Sean Smith, one of the rookie referees in the league this season with so much turnover.
During the return, illegal block in the back, return team number 41, half the distance penalty from the flag. 1st down, timeout.
All right, that's Trey Herndon on the penalty as they will mark Bortles and company back deep on their own side of the field.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Progressive Insurance, handing off big savings to you. McDonald's. And by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925.
Blake Bortles, Jacksonville starting from inside the 10. They had a flag on the penalty, and now they could be going back even further.
False start. Offense number 78. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
That's their right tackle, Jeremy Parnell. And after what we saw last week, Adam, against New England, this has not been the same offense.
380.
Finally able to get on the board with a Josh Lambo field goal a couple of minutes ago. But last week, you look at what they did, 481 total yards of offense. They were incredible on third down, basically went anywhere they wanted to on the field. But it's been a far different story so far here.
And you have to give Tennessee some credit as well. They've been able to, for all intents and purposes, shut down the run. They're not doing anything fancy on defense. They're just playing sound, fundamental football, and they have not allowed the Jacksonville receivers to get behind them in the secondary. So I think Dean Pees' defense have come to play and have accepted the challenge.
Bortles from the end zone on 2nd and 14. Pump fakes and then goes underneath to Yeldon. Yeldon breaking a tackle. Very close to that first down marker, short of the 20 by about 2 yards. We'll see where the officials spot the football. Yeldon so elusive as a pass catcher out of the backfield. The missed tackle on the play was Kenny Vaccaro as Yeldon picks up 13.
Yep, and a much different running back than Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette's the downhill, he's the pounder. You know, TJ Yeldon really does a nice job out of the shotgun and getting him out in space. He's not as physical as Leonard Fournette, but he averaged 5.8 yards per carry last week. That's just fine with him.
Yeldon trying to get to the first down marker, appears to be short. Needed the 19 and appears to be about a full yard short here as Doug Marrone will send out his punt unit.
Such a great play inside. Unbelievable job by Austin Johnson, playing off of the center, scraping down past the line of scrimmage and just making that play before Yeldon can get upfield. What a play by number 94.
Looks like the injured player is Rashaan Evans, the young man who they took 22nd overall in the draft. He actually got his first action last week. He's been out with a hamstring injury, went down the first couple of days of training camp, missed the entire preseason, didn't play week 1. Last week got a special team snap, but this is actually the first time he's been playing with the defense this season. And it looks like he'll be able to walk off on his own.
Yeah, and I think once he's able to get up to speed and get some reps and get plugged in there as the full-time starter, you're going to see some of those rushing numbers start to go down for the Titans. He is a dynamic player that they're missing at that other linebacker spot right now.
And the frustration for Jacksonville, and this offense continues. The rookie punter on again, Logan Cook. Already with 7 punts inside the opponent's 20-yard line this season, right at the top of the NFL. Dory Jackson, who again had that long punt return for a touchdown here week 2 last season. There is a flag thrown. Jackson breaking tackles, and he is stuck. Hard hit by James O'Shaughnessy. That was an NFL collision. Just wonder how these guys get up sometimes, and Jackson looks like he is clearly shaken up. "41 yards on the punt by Cook and 14 on the return by Jackson. And they're going to help him to the sideline as he looks woozy.
Number 20 of the return team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, timeout.
That's Kenneth Durden on the holding penalty, as Tennessee will have it when we come back. Titans second-year cornerback Adoree Jackson being looked at in the medical tent. Took a hard hit by James O'Shaughnessy on a clean hit on that last punt return. There's O'Shaughnessy on the Jacksonville sideline. As Marcus Mariota and Tennessee's offense onto the field. Best field position that he has had to start as they begin from their own 38. Play action. Mariota rolling out, surveys the defense, and takes a little bit of a hit from Telvin Smith at the end of that play. It's a pickup of 3 by Mariota. And now exchanging some playful words with Smith. Let's go back to the hit that Adoree Jackson took. Second-year kid out of USC. There's a clean play, Adam.
Yeah, brutal hit, but you see clearly O'Shaughnessy leads with his right shoulder. And that's a physical game, but that is a textbook tackle by the tight end.
Jackson, meantime, still in that medical tent. 2nd and 7. Here's Henry cutting back. And you just can't appreciate how big and how massive this kid is. We had a chance to visit with him yesterday. Soft-spoken kid. And obviously, he's had some big moments through his first couple of years of the season. He's their lead back with DeMarco Murray having moved on. And they need him desperately to get going today. The running game has struggled. Really, everything has been ragged so far for Tennessee.
They want to get Derrick Henry on the edge and attack the corners for Jacksonville, but the defensive line have really done a nice job of shutting down that front side and making him cut back.
Henry taking on tacklers, doesn't get it. Ngakoue dumping him for a loss of 1.
This is an incredible play by Ngakoue, the smaller defensive end, running away from Calais Campbell. But look how he just pins the tight end, or excuse me, that's Taylor Lewan. He turns Taylor Lewan, disengages from the block, and makes the play, hits Derrick Henry in the backfield. That is a beautiful technique, shutting down the front door on his side.
What a matchup between him and Lewan, one of the best left tackles in the NFL. As Mike Vrabel sends out his punter, Brett Kern. Fair catch signaled by Mickens as it's into the end zone. We'll break back in 30 seconds right after this. Well, Jacksonville 2-0 for the first time in 12 years. 7-game home winning streak. Haven't lost here since week 6 of last season. But right now, Adam, just 111 yards of total offense.
And we really haven't seen them go downfield. I think when you go back to last week, the Texans were able to drive the ball when they started to attack downfield outside some.
Play action from Bortles. They try to throw on the run, and it's incomplete. Intended for Tommy Bohan in the fullback. But Tennessee's defense showing them some different looks, and they just have not been able to get comfortable.
They played a disciplined game, and again, they really cognizant of Bortles when he gets outside the pocket. Every time Bortles has been able to get outside the hash marks, he's had a linebacker or a defensive end in his face, forcing him to throw the ball in a bad place.
Mike Vrabel pacing that sideline, has to be very pleased with what he's seen from his defense. Bortles just 2 completions today, over 10 yards. He'll throw it here, far side of the field. It's incomplete. Again, unable to connect with Keelan Cole.
I mean, we've seen Keelan Cole catch the ball with one hand. One of the best catches you're going to see last week. But Bortles just can't get him the ball on his numbers. You see, he has to extend out there with that right arm. I thought he maybe could have exploded out of the break a little bit faster, but that's the 2nd or 3rd throw so far that Bortles has missed an open receiver.
Bortles now 9 for 17 for only 69 yards. Bortles somehow escapes the sack. Little pitch play to Yeldon, but he is going nowhere. Tackled at the 20. They're about 10 yards short of the marker. Harold Landry, the rookie linebacker out of Boston College, the 2nd-round pick on the tackle.
I tell you what, it's Wesley Woodyard. He makes quick work out of T.J. Yeldon, but he can't get Bortles down. Bortles does a really nice job escaping that, but what about the hustle from Landry? Talk about a guy that flashed last week in his first action as a pro. I have a feeling they're going to be talking about number 58 coming off that edge for a long time here in Tennessee.
And Landry singled out for his play by Vrabel. Already 2 quarterback hits for Landry in just over a game plus in the NFL. Another punt by Cook. This is played. Rashard Matthews on to return punts now as Adoree Jackson is, at least for the moment, unavailable. Nothing official yet on Jackson, as Matthews with a return of 9 yards. A reminder to keep it here. The Verizon halftime report comes your way in a couple of minutes. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, and Coach Cowher standing by from our studios in New York. Get you caught up around the league. Week 3 of the NFL season. All next on the Verizon halftime report. And without a doubt, that score in Minnesota has been the surprise so far. Buffalo up 24-0 at last check. Unreal. As Adoree Jackson is escorted into the Tennessee locker room. If you've just joined us, Blaine Gabbert knocked out of the game, at least for the moment, in the concussion protocol as they check him out in the locker room. Marcus Mariota summoned. This is Dion Lewis breaking tackles inside Jacksonville territory. Finally brought down by Marcel Darius after a pickup of 5 and a nifty play by Lewis.
He is so hard to tackle in space. He's 5'9", but watch when he runs. His center of gravity, his balance, his feet. Tough guy to bring down in the open field.
2-minute warning. All tied at 3 on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
Beautiful sunshine, temperatures in the upper 80s here. That Florida heat, second straight week, playing a big factor here between the Tennessee Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Marcus Mariota in business now from the Jacksonville 45. His first completion a moment ago to Dion Lewis. 2nd and 5, little read option play. Mariota making guys miss, ducks inside the 40. That is a first down, tackled by Jalen Ramsey. And once again, just to kind of tell you how he got here, Blaine Gabbert made the start for his 2nd straight week. He was knocked out, at least for the moment. He is in the concussion protocol, as is Adoree Jackson, their backup cornerback. So Marcus Mariota, who hurt his right throwing elbow week 1 in Miami, didn't play last week, pressed into action here against probably the best defense in the NFL.
Not an easy task, especially, you've got to wonder, where is he with his right hand? And can he feel the ball? Can he grip the ball? We've seen, he hasn't thrown the ball downfield. It's all been short, conservative throws inside of the numbers. But it'll be interesting once they go into halftime and kind of sit down, settle down a little bit, and see what the game plan is for the second half. They've got to change something because they have not been able to move the ball at all so far in this game. It's going to be interesting to see how they come out after halftime.
Marcel Darius, the injured Jag, he's replaced for the moment by Avery Jones. Mariota over the middle, it's caught. Lewis. Excellent pursuit. Telvin Smith was with him step for step. What a player this kid has become. Smith, the former 5th-round pick in his 5th season out of Florida State. Tennessee working with 2 timeouts here. And the game management from Mike Vrabel now a big factor with $1:20 to play before halftime. Where does Mariota go here? On 2nd and 8, near side, high pass, it is caught. That's Matthews. His first reception of the afternoon, a minimal pickup of only 3 with a minute left in that clock running.
You see the Titans, they're going to play it conservatively. They want, at the minimum, to be able to exit this drive with a field goal attempt and get 3 points. So you don't want to take a sack. You know that Jacksonville's defensive line, they've been playing extremely well and putting pressure on the quarterback. You just have to get positive yardage to give yourself a chance to get 3 points going into halftime.
It would be about a 52-yard field goal from here. Succop's career long is 54. His longest last year was 53 yards, as now Vrabel will take his 2nd timeout. So they are right at the edge of Succop's field goal range, and they will have one timeout left. Another reminder to keep it here. The Verizon halftime report comes your way next. JB and the fellas are standing by. Get you caught up around the league here in week number 3. The Verizon halftime report next. Well, if you're Mike Vrabel, you have to be pleased with what you've seen so far. The quarterback change early, threw everything in flux for a second straight week, and considering how good Jacksonville has been, has to be pleased.
I don't know if I've ever really seen anything like it, what this team has had to go through. First-year head coach, first 3 games of the season. I mean, it's not supposed to go like this, right? I'd love to know right now what Mariota is thinking. Who's his go-to guy? Who can he trust? So far, his receivers have let him down, but I've got to imagine number 84 has to start to enter the equation on third down for the Titans.
That's Corey Davis still looking for his first catch. Multiple drops. Little run play called. Lewis up the gut. That gets him to the 30, right back to the line of scrimmage. A pickup of 4.
They're going to run this down to about 3 seconds and line up, kick the field goal.
So 3 seconds left in the quarter. And here comes Ryan Succop. Told you about Succop last week. The game-tying 42-yard field goal with about 9:45 left in the 4th, and then the game winner to beat Houston at home with a minute left in the 4th. Hit earlier from 39. This will be a 48-yard attempt. Bo Brinkley will be the long snapper, and Brett Kern, their punter, is the holder here. Succop tries to get that right leg warmed up. The lonely life of a kicker before it's his show. Looks like Doug Marrone wants a timeout. Let them think about it a little further.
This is their second charge timeout of the half, 30 seconds.
Now we had a chance to visit with Doug Marrone on Friday, and you always worry as a head coach in general, but obviously the emotional win last week here over New England, getting that monkey off their back. You knew that Tennessee has some issues at the quarterback position. These guys aren't robots. They're emotional guys, and I'm not sure this is the score many people had predicted.
Hey, man, it's hard. I mean, it is just one game in September. But if you don't think that last week was an emotional outpouring from this football team winning that game, you're mistaken. It's hard to get up every single game of the season.
Ryan Succop on a 48-yard attempt from the left hash mark. Kick is up, good distance, and he missed it. Wide right. Halftime here in Jacksonville, all tied at 3. We'll break, come back after this. Just about ready for the start of the second half here in Jacksonville. A big one in the AFC South, and right now we are all tied at 3 between the Titans and the Jaguars. We'll look now at the first half highlight presented by DirecTV. Calais Campbell getting to Blaine Gabbert early. Gabbert knocked out of the game a little bit later in that first half. Marcus Mariota coming on in relief. As you see some of the numbers, and they have been ugly. If you are a lover of offensive football, we know about this Jacksonville defense, but Tennessee's defense led by Dean Pease has been terrific. As we welcome you back into the booth, the NFL on CBS here alongside Adam Archuleta. I'm Spiro Ditas. Any surprise that we didn't see Marcus Mariota and company maybe try to push for it and go maybe for a touchdown at the end of that half?
No, not at all, especially in a game like this. Here's the problem that they're going to have on offense is I don't believe, and they don't believe, Mariota can push the ball down the field because of his grip strength and that nerve injury. So the last thing you want to do is have a quarterback who's not confident throwing the ball down the field against what is probably the most talented secondary in the NFL. So you get your points if you can get them. They missed the field goal, but I don't think there's any way they could have attacked and tried to score 6 points at the end of the half.
And we talked about the challenge right now for Matt LaFleur, who is, of course, Mike Vrabel's offensive coordinator, first time calling plays in the NFL. Touchy situation. Mariota still not at full strength with the grip of the football on that right throwing hand. Didn't get a full allotment of snaps this week in practice. And so really a challenge in terms of how deep they can go at him in the playbook.
It sure is, especially considering the fact that they have not been able to establish any run game whatsoever to try and take the pressure off of Mariota. First and foremost, you've got to be able to protect him, because this is a defensive front that's been able to get after the quarterback. The other part is, what plays do we call? Because I'm sure the Jacksonville defense is thinking, hey, they can't throw the ball down the field. Let's chomp down and stop them.
Well, not only are the Titans dealing with the injury to Mariota, they also lost to Dory Jackson. This was the hit. Malik Jackson coming in right of your picture with a hard hit on Gabbert. And they continue to look now at both him and Adoree Jackson, who was stuck on this punt return by James O'Shaughnessy. Still nothing official. All we know is that they're both being evaluated for concussions. And nothing official yet on whether either player will return. So here's Mariota under center. Derrick Henry, the lone setback, as they begin from their own 25. Mariota going to throw it, far side of the field, and it is incomplete, and a late flag comes in. Intended receiver was Davis, working against A.J. Boye.
A double move, and I like finally trying to be aggressive and throw the ball downfield.
Pass interference. Defense, number 21. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
And that's Boye, an all-pro selection last year, and a first-time Pro Bowler.
Yeah, I think it's smart, because you know these defensive backs, they're reading the quarterback and they know the ball has to come out. So take advantage of them being aggressive and get the ball downfield right there. Good play by Boye, because he was beat, but he gets a penalty instead of a possible touchdown.
Little misdirection handoff. This is Sharp, who had the drop earlier. Sharp with a terrific run inside Jacksonville territory. That'll be a first down and more. A pickup of 16 yards for the third-year kid out of UMass. A look at the first half possessions. The field goal early by Ryan Suckup. And all the scoring we've seen so far, that was the longest play of the day for Tennessee. Henry breaks the initial tackle inside the 40. Flag thrown behind the line of scrimmage.
During the run, holding, offense number 77. 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
That's Taylor Lewan making his return today from the concussion that sidelined him last week in the victory over Houston.
Well, I think it's smart. You see the plan coming out after halftime is attacking the edges with speed. Get away from the inside of that defense, which has been able to wreak havoc so far on the Tennessee Titans offensive line. But boy, a penalty on first down. Now you're first and 20. Tough spot for an offense that's having a hard time driving the ball down the field.
Only 76 total yards of offense for Tennessee. Mariota well protected, completes. This is Davis. First catch of the day for Corey Davis. First down after a pickup of 22. Massive play by Davis.
This play right here is what Corey Davis has to be. Great route inside, but then use your physicality. And as Mike Vrabel says, run like a tailback with that big body and get upfield after the catch.
Little screen pass, and it's incomplete. And you look at how talented this defense is in the cornerbacks with Ramsey and Boye, and you say, boy, do you want to stay away from Ramsey? But you go out and use up a 5th overall pick on a Corey Davis. You have to be able to attack these guys, right?
Well, it's the NFL. Every week, it's about marquee matchups. Taylor Lewan has a marquee matchup with Ngakoue. That's why you go out and you draft a guy 5th overall, so you can go after these big-time corners. You know, you need a guy in today's modern passing game that you can throw the ball to that's better than the other guys. And Corey Davis has to develop into that type of wide receiver.
And a big catch late last week in the win over the Texans. Mariota delivers again. That's Darius Jennings on the catch. First catch of the day for Jennings, the undrafted second-year man out of Virginia. And it will be 3rd and short.
3rd down. Watch Mariota and his scrambling ability.
Mariota again, quick release, near side of the field. It's caught. Taylor needed the 20, and they've got it, and then some. A pickup of 7, and a good-looking drive led by Mariota to begin the second half.
Yeah, I like what Tennessee is doing, and this is how teams are starting to attack guys like Jalen Ramsey. They're using these tight stacks, and what that does, it doesn't allow a guy like Ramsey, who is a physical long corner at the line of scrimmage, to come up and challenge a wide receiver. You guarantee off coverage. Now all you have to do is execute the throw and the catch.
Ramsey, the All-Pro selection last year. Here is Henry. First time we've seen the Wildcat today. You know, we asked Henry about it last week. They didn't install the Wildcat until the day before the game against Houston Saturday. Never ran it in the preseason, never even ran it in practice. They installed it in their walkthrough, ran it 5 times with success.
Yeah, and I think once Dennis Kelly went down later in the week, they said, wait a minute, we need a few extra tricks. We need something else to be able to throw at this defense, and that was their answer.
Henry on the take, and he's going backwards. Campbell making first contact. It's a loss of 3. Campbell, who had a terrific first half, his sack. And it will be 3rd and 8 coming up.
What a game that Calais Campbell has had here today. You know, getting in the backfield, hitting the quarterback, this time slicing through the double team and getting penetration. And in the backfield, what an impressive game from number 93. Now you're 3rd and 8, and this was the exact down and distance that the Titans wanted to avoid because of how good this defense is at rushing the passer.
Play clock at 3.
Got the stack down here and off coverage.
Mariota sacked. It's Campbell again.
What a great move. Lined up outside the tackle, and then he's going to go to work inside on the center, Ben Jones. Watch the push, the swim, and he's able to get to Mariota in the backfield. That is exceptional for a guy that size to run that kind of a stunt and get to the quarterback that fast.
2nd sack of the day for Campbell, the NFL's reigning Defensive Player of the Year. This is Suck Up on what would be a 41-yard attempt. That was Ramsey who came across prematurely.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 20. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
I figured he could take a chance on a 4th and 16.
I don't know what he was looking at.
So Suck Up on a 36-yard attempt. Good snap, good hold, and Suck Up is right down Broadway. And the Tennessee Titans moving back in front. But Campbell has been a monster yet again. Scoring summary, Marcus Mariota leads the Titans down the field. Impressive drive to begin the 3rd quarter. Ends in a 36-yard field goal from Ryan Suck Up to get Tennessee back in front. Mariota coming on in relief of Blaine Gabbert, who left the game on the 2nd offensive drive of the day for Tennessee, knocked out by Malik Jackson. Still nothing official on Gabbert's condition, his status, and whether or not he'll return. Evaluated for a concussion, and he is yet to come out of that Tennessee locker room. Jaden Mickens back deep, standing about 7 yards in his own end zone, and they will have it from the 25-yard line. Well, Saturday, the best game from the best conference will feature Tennessee against the second-ranked Georgia Bulldogs. The Volunteers and their new head coach, Jeremy Pruitt, looking to avenge a tough loss last year against the Bulldogs. College football today kicks off today at 3 Eastern on CBS. Well, can this Jacksonville offense now get something going? Just 110 total yards in the first half.
Green 80. Green is set.
Play action from Bortles, and that little sidearm delivery is deflected by Brian Arakpo. First time we've called his name today. That incredible 6'4", 257-pound frame staring down Bortles.
They've tried this play 3 times, and 3 times the outside linebackers for the Titans have played a disciplined rep. Not fooled by going down inside and then quickly getting upfield to cut off Bortles, and there's nowhere for him to throw the ball.
Bortles fakes the handoff, and the pass again deflected at the line of scrimmage. Derek Morgan this time getting his hands on it. And this Tennessee defense looking forceful as they force him into a 3rd and 10.
But when you know the ball is going to come out quickly, you got to be able to get your hands up. Look at that by Derek Morgan. Beautiful bull rush, and he perfectly times the arm action of Bortles to come up and block that pass. DP's right there to your left has got to be very pleased with how his defense has come out to play an offense that's been red hot.
3rd down pass, it's caught. Westbrook, 1st down and more. Out across the 40, needed the 35. It's a pickup of 15 and a big 1st down for the Jaguars.
Screenplay, watch the big tight end, Safarian Jenkins. This is a block all the way. He leads the way, and they take advantage of a blitz. Could be considered maybe blocking downfield a little bit too early, but they get away with it. And a big play by Westbrook to pick up the 1st down.
Safarian Jenkins getting a breather. 1st and 10 from the 40. Bortles' little pirouette action. Underneath this is Corey Grant, but Tennessee able to snuff it out as Jacksonville loses yardage. Jayon Brown on the tackle. It's a loss of a yard. And we saw Dean Pease up in his press box. His retirement lasted less than a month. Finished up with Baltimore, but Mike Vrabel, who played for Pease in New England, was able to lure him back. Pease talked it over with his wife Mel, and here he is. What an acquisition for this coaching staff and Vrabel.
It does not take much to get these guys back in the booth.
Bortles on 2nd and 11, slinging it up the seam. It is caught. That is Cole. He's had a rough day till this point. It's a pickup of 7 here, and another big 3rd down coming up for Nathaniel Hackett and this offense.
I'm really surprised that they have not taken a shot downfield yet in this game. You know, I really thought that they'd test the Titans corners because they've given up some plays downfield. I wouldn't be surprised. I know it's 3rd and short, but if they get press man, I wouldn't be surprised to see a shot downfield by Bortles in the offense.
Bortles well protected. The pass wobbly, may have been deflected. It was called on a crossing pattern. And Bortles now 13 of 24 for 90 yards, shaking his head in frustration. And it was Woodyard who got his right hand on it.
What a play by Woodyard, because Cole, you see that he's got great separation inside, and if he catches that, he might have a really nice opportunity to turn up that sideline and pick up a big play. But for the 2nd time in that drive, the Titans get their hand on the ball.
3rd time, 3 deflections by Tennessee's defense. 5th punt of the day for Cook. Matthews, and he takes a hard hit right around the 17-yard line by Cody Davis. 45 yards on the punt. 6-3 Tennessee.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Corona Extra. Find your beach. State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM. And by the new super powerful Samsung Galaxy Note 9.
Yulee High School right up the road from about where we are here, about 30 minutes in the car to the north of Jacksonville, high school alma mater of Derrick Henry, who rushed for over 12,000 yards as a Hornet.
I think they made the defensive player on that mural a little bit too big. Should have been about half the size of Derrick Henry if they wanted to be accurate.
Well, needed a couple of extra tickets, 50 tickets, and all his parents, his siblings, entire Henry clan here in Jacksonville today as Marcus Mariota and company taking over. As we finally have gotten the official word from Tennessee's sideline, both Blaine Gabbert and Adoree Jackson are out for the remainder of the game, both in the concussion protocol. As this wild season for the rookie head coach Mike Vrabel continues, had that 7-hour marathon week 1 in Miami, then the multiple injuries last week, the Wild win at home over Houston.
We thought last week was a grinded out game against the Texans. I think this one would qualify as that as well.
Titans had a good looking drive to start the half, and that continues. Lewis, the nifty little cutback maneuver to the inside. That's a first down run by Lewis, a pickup of 8. Finally tackled by Telvin Smith.
And I mentioned how hard he is to tackle and what great balance he has. Saw the Titans earlier, free hitter in the hole, missed the tackle. That time the rookie Rodney Harrison had a shot one-on-one and missed it.
Mariota going to throw it on first down. That pass is caught right up the seam. That's Taywan Taylor with his second catch. A pickup of 9, and Mariota just looks much more comfortable so far, at least early in this half.
I think halftime at least got everybody to kind of sit down. You address the entire group. You come up with a game plan that everybody has confidence in. Gives Mariota a chance to kind of sit back and assess what happened in that first half. And they look much better and much crisper here in the second half. His receivers, Spiro, are holding on to the ball. That's step one.
Keep it on the ground, Lewis, and he is blown up. Malik Jackson able to lead the charge for Jacksonville's defense as we move past the 6-minute mark left in this third quarter.
I'm a little surprised at Tennessee's offensive line, allowing this much penetration and this much pressure in the backfield. Time Malik Jackson goes right up inside one more time and sets up the Titans here on 3rd and 2. Again, I would have to watch Mariota's mobility on this play. Watch the edges if you're Jacksonville. He's been their best weapon.
Mariota on 3rd and 2. Pump fakes, he's going to run for it. Mariota first down and more. So dangerous with his legs. He picks up 8. Tackled by Tyler Patman. Everyone covered down the field, but Mariota making it happen with his legs.
It makes it tough. Yannick Ngakoue was the defensive end to that side. They chip him, and he tries to go up inside, but Mariota uses his instincts. He knows there's a lane outside and smartly gets upfield to pick up the first down.
Mariota, the leading rusher here, as Lewis is tripped up in the backfield, unable to get to the line of scrimmage. Adam, you called it. Watch those edges. Mariota, so dangerous, brings that escapability to the fold here. And he is actually their leading rusher now. 5 attempts for 34 yards.
That's amazing. Coming into this drive, Derrick Henry, 8 rushes for 17 yards.
Another misdirection play. Mariota takes a shot. Lewis inside Jacksonville territory. As boy Mariota was just barely able to get rid of the football. It was Ngakoue coming with the heat.
A free hitter, Ngakoue from the backside, and it was Tashawn Gibson blitzing from the front side. But they had the right play on, and Mariota gets it off just in time to pick up those precious yards to set them up for 3rd and short. We'd love to have Delaney Walker right now. But Taywan Taylor has been a guy that you get on the ball in a short area, can make something happen after the catch.
Sharp in motion on 3rd and 3. Here they come. Mariota steps up. And he is tackled about a yard short of the first down marker. Dante Fowler able to get to him. It's a pickup officially of 2, and on 4th and 1 here, Mike Vrabel at least for the moment, keeps his offense on the field. How about this? We'll see if they run a play.
Be alert.
Lone setback is Lewis.
Yeah, they're drawing him offside. Won't snap this ball.
And they'll take the delay of game penalty and send out Brett Kern.
Now, coaches are always trying to get tricky. You know, they line up no
Delay
huddle.
game, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
You think maybe they have some momentum. Let's hurry up, get up on the line of scrimmage, get the defense kind of frazzled a little bit, but nice discipline from Todd Wash's defensive line, who have been pretty eager so far in this game, getting in the backfield and getting penetration, but staying true on 4th and 1.
So Tennessee's drive stalls, but if nothing else, Mariota at least now starting to find a little bit of a rhythm. He was 0 of his first 4 passing with a couple of drops, but has hit 8 of his last 9 passing attempts.
Right now they're a one-dimensional offense, and it's hard to be one-dimensional when your quarterback, because of his grip strength, can't really rip the ball down the field.
Mariota trying to stay cool down in front of that Giant fan. There's Brett Kern standing right around his own 36. Titans trying to make it a 2nd straight divisional win in as many weeks in what would be a monstrous win here on the road. But contact prematurely. This will be against Tennessee. Dane Cruikshank coming down and making the contact, knocking Mickens to the turf. Cruikshank, as we told you earlier, AFC Special Teams Player of the Week. As we await the official call from Sean Smith.
Possible, Spiro, we got a flop. Well, he did make contact.
There's no foul on the play for kick catch interference as the defender was deemed to be legally blocked into the receiver. Timeout.
It was Jalen Ramsey who they say actually blocked Cruikshank into Mickens, so they pick up the flag. Well, numbers haven't been pretty so far between the two quarterbacks. Marcus Mariota coming on after Blaine Gabbert went down on the 2nd offensive drive of the day for Tennessee. Gabbert done for the day with the concussion. And now Blaine Gabbert on the field, 1st and 10 as they begin from their own 12. 2 and change to play in the quarter. Bortles throwing far side to Keelan Cole. And that is close to the 1st down marker, a pickup of 9. Now, I'll tell you the other thing they've done, they've kept Bortles in check. But the other thing Mike Vrabel told us was concern about Bortles' ability to escape and run. They've held him in check there as well. Only 2 rushes for 8 yards for Bortles. Favorable 2nd and 1. Here's Yeldon, 1st down and more. Yeldon taking on tacklers close to the 30, a pickup of 9. Tackled on the play by Derek Morgan.
This is something that they did not expect when Austin Seferian-Jenkins came here. They knew he was a big target, could really help them in the passing game, but his blocking. Remember, last year, Mercedes Lewis, one of the better run-blocking tight ends in the National Football League. That time, Austin Seferian-Jenkins, the reason why Yeldon was able to get upfield.
Quick drop for Bortles. Here's Cole again. And Cole, after the couple of drops early, now starting to pick up some steam. Best game of his young career last week against New England. 7 catches for 116 yards, including the 24-yard touchdown.
You notice the Tennessee Titan cornerbacks giving up on this drive a lot more cushion. Something that kind of hurt them last week. too much cushion to DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller. Right now, Blake Bortles is identifying the off coverage and getting it out to his outside receivers outside the numbers.
Under a minute left in the quarter. That'll be another first down run for Yeldon as we hit the 42nd mark of the quarter. Yeldon making the start today for Leonard Fournette. If you've just joined us, Fournette out with a hamstring injury for his second straight week. Hoping to have him back next week, as Jacksonville will play their third straight home game here against the Jets.
Green 80. Green is out.
Play action from Bortles on 1st and 10. Underneath, this is Bohannon. First catch of the day for Jacksonville's fullback, a pickup of 5 as that takes us to the end of the third quarter. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Well, so much talk about maybe the torch being passed in the AFC this week after Jacksonville was able to knock off New England, but they have gotten everything they want from Tennessee. Always expect a fist fight between these two teams, and right now 6-3 Tennessee as we get set for the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think when Doug Marrone says, hey, it was just one game, I think that's what he means. It's just one game. It's so hard to come out and play at your absolute best for 16, 17 weeks in a row.
Corey Grant lines up next to Bortles, fakes the handoff to him. Bortles thought about it, he's going to run for it. Needed the 48 for the first down, and he has it. And that's what Vrabel was so worried about, the escapability and the running ability of Bortles.
Here is where Bortles has made such an improvement. Early in his career, he would take off automatically. This time, he's smart when he takes off. He sees that the Titans are in zone coverage underneath. The linebackers have vacated the zone. He knows he has time and gets upfield to pick up the first down. Very smart in the way he uses his scrambling ability to get those first downs.
Ran for a couple of first downs last week against New England. That's his first in this game. Bortles escapes the sack and averts disaster as he picks up 2 yards and makes that a positive play. And Bortles has obviously struggled so far in this game, but this is the time of the game where he needs to get going.
Yeah, absolutely. Fourth quarter is when you have to be at your absolute best. It's been a sloppy game in the passing game. He's made some bad throws, missed some open receivers. He has had some drops by his guys, but then that last drive, he had 3 consecutive batted passes. So far, he looks much better in this drive as he moves the offense down the field.
Bortles after the fake handoff to Yeldon goes to the air to Yeldon. Needed the 35-yard line for the first down. He is very close, about a half-yard short. Jayon Brown on the tackle, a pickup of 11. And a big call here coming up from Nathaniel Hackett.
3rd and 1, and remember, A.J. Cann, your right guard, is out. Most likely, Chris Reed will be up against Jarrell Casey. One of your best run blockers, Cam Robinson, is out on the left side as well.
They run it. Yeldon has it all the way down to the 25-yard line. Wesley Woodyard on the tackle. We go to New York, JB and Phil.
Miami striking back.
Yeah, here we go. Ryan Tannehill throws the pass to Jakeem Grant, who goes 18 yards for the touchdown. Oakland still on top, 17-14, late in the third quarter. Back to Spiro and Adam.
Dolphins atop the AFC East, looking for their first 3-0 start in 5 years. Grant unable to find the edge. Late flag is thrown behind the play. Jayon Brown, who's been all over the place for this defense, was there on the stop.
During the run, holding, offense number 64. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay first down.
That's Chris Reed again making the start today at right guard. No A.J. Cann, who's out with a tricep injury.
Holding Chris Reed, the right guard. We just talked about him. Look at this move by Benny Logan, number 96. He tries to shed Reed, gets penetration in the backfield, and Reed has no chance but to try and tackle him as he's fallen to the ground. We've seen some great individual plays up front from the Tennessee Titans defensive line getting off blocks today.
Bortles faking the handoff to Grant, in trouble, and it's incomplete. Sensing the pocket collapsing, James O'Shaughnessy, the backup tight end, was the intended receiver. And that pressure from Tennessee has been a factor all day.
Well, the Titans have multiple guys that can get after the quarterback. Great history with Brian Arakpo and Derek Morgan, Jarrell Casey. They've gotten some nice pressure from their inside guys as well. Harold Landry, made a big appearance and impact last week in the fourth quarter. Can he do it here again today in his second NFL game of his career?
Bortles on 2nd and 20. This is the tight end, Safarian Jenkins. That'll be his 3rd catch of the day. It's a pickup of 7. And it'll set up Jacksonville with a 3rd down coming up as we cross the 12-minute mark.
A tough 3rd down here, 3rd and 12. First and foremost, if you're Bortles, you throw this ball, you cannot take a sack. You've got to at least get your way back to the original line of scrimmage so you can attempt and get 3 points out of this drive.
Well within the field goal range of Josh Lambo, who's hit 15 straight field goals for Jacksonville. 3rd and 13 from the 28. Bortles protected. Here's Yeldon underneath. He'll be short of the 1st down marker, brought down at around the 20. Well played by the defense on the far side of the field. Kevin Byard was there for the tackle. Pro Bowler last year for Tennessee. It's a pickup of 8. And Doug Marrone will send out Josh Lambo.
No, Spiro, I wish I could have shown you the hustle from Jarrell Casey, who rushed from the right side and was able to go and run down and chase down TJ Yeldon down the field. Great effort from 99.
Carson Tinker is the long snapper. Logan Cook the holder. And Lambo is good. Make it 16 straight. We are tied at 6 on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Domino's. Order online at Domino's.com. And by Allstate, reminding you that football season is mayhem.
Well, Jalen Ramsey taking on his hometown team. Grew up in the suburbs of Nashville. Starred at Brentwood Academy. And Brentwood currently #1 in the state. And by the way, we have to mention the MUS Owls, #4, right behind them in the standings, led by the stud quarterback, Sellers Shy Jr., the son of our trusty, fearless producer. I hear he's pretty good. And those two could be coming down the stretch and facing each other in the postseason. Ramsey, no doubt, keeping tabs on his old team. But obviously the business at hand first here, trying to win one in the division. Next Sunday, CBS's Super Bowl season continues with a terrific doubleheader. First today, FC East showdown as Miami heads to New England. And then Drew Brees driving New Orleans into New York to take on Eli and the Giants. The day begins with the NFL Today at 12 Eastern on CBS. Well, everything you'd expect between these two teams. It has been physical and rugged and points at a premium. Mariota and company beginning from the 25. Here is Henry. A Jacksonville native coming back home. 1st down burst tackled by Miles Jack. You don't want to get him going downhill if you're playing defense.
Here's the key. This cutoff block by the tight end, Jonnu Smith. How he gets inside and gets position on Calais Campbell. Campbell cannot close down, and that's why the alley gets so big, and you got big number 22 coming downhill. Excellent job by the Titans tight end.
Quiet day so far for Henry, hoping to change that here. Here he is again, breaking the initial tackle and scoots up close to the 43-yard line. 2016 Heisman Trophy winner. First couple of years had to share the spotlight, of course, with DeMarco Murray, who is no longer here. But first time as the frontline guy, and this is exactly where you need Derrick Henry.
It's where he's done his best work when he's had his best games here in the fourth quarter, as they've worn down other teams. He has not had a chance to really get going so far today. Jacksonville's defense has been tough, and they've been able to get him in the backfield before he's able to pick up steam on the edge.
On 2nd and 6, Mariota, play action, rolls out, slinging it. That's the tight end, Jonnu Smith. Officials say he was down by contact, so it is ruled a completion inside Jacksonville territory. And that will be a Tennessee first down.
Yeah, Matt LaFleur, the offensive coordinator, talked about in their play-action game, and they've got to find a way to get the Jacksonville linebackers to move and step up, to create those alleys behind the linebackers and between the safeties as they try and attack the inside part of the field. That time to Sean Gibson, he's playing outside leverage. He needs help coming in from the other side, but nobody was there. He couldn't be there to make the play.
Only the second catch of the season for Jonnu Smith. Here's Henry inside Jacksonville's 45-yard line, and you can see the frustration. Miles Jack kind of yelling out at the end of that play. A pickup of 5 by Henry, tackled by Telvin Smith.
The plan coming into this game was being successful on first and second down, and that's something early and throughout this game the Titans have not been able to do because of their lack of production in the running game. They've been able to do that on this drive, and you've seen how it's been able to open up the offense and allow them to get in more of a rhythm.
Titans would love an extended, grinded-out drive here to try to shorten this game with 8 and change left. 2nd and 5. Henry again, stuffed. Just barely able to get back to the line of scrimmage. Barry Church on the tackle.
This is perfect scrape. Miles Jack, number 44. I mean, this is what happens when you've got fast, athletic linebackers. He knows exactly what's coming, and he's able to hit Derrick Henry in the hole. It's an athletic and a talented defense. They haven't been able to get off the field here in 3rd down so far in this drive. Let's see if Todd Wash dials up some pressure and goes after number 8.
Mariota, little sidearm delivery, finds Davis. First down and more. What a play by Mariota. The off-balance throw to Davis. A pickup of a dozen and a fresh set of downs for Tennessee.
Talk about trust and making a play, a little pick. And Boye actually is able to fight through it and get through the traffic, but a great accurate pass from Mariota to Corey Davis, and that, Spiro, is what the Titans have been looking for in this game.
Injured player is Calais Campbell as they come onto the field. All-Pro Calais Campbell having his right leg looked at. Campbell was actually on the injury report this week due to soreness in his right knee. You see him retaping his right cleat. And for the moment, on that Jacksonville sideline, they are in the range of Ryan Suckup. Are the Titans here? Will be about a 49-yard field goal. Taven Bryant has come in for Campbell. Little misdirection handoff. Here is Henry. 7th play of the drive. A pickup of 3 here, and that clock still running. They have had a couple of extended drives at him so far in the second half.
They've really made some nice adjustments. What I think they've done is they've started to spread out Jacksonville's defensive backs. They're putting receivers outside the numbers instead of in stacks and bunches, getting some extra passing lanes. The receivers, especially Corey Davis, have rewarded their quarterback.
Fake handoff from Mariota, throws it across his body, finds the tight end. It's Luke Stocker. Runs out of bounds, a pickup of 11 and another Tennessee first down. What a throw by Mariota.
You've got to have great eye discipline right here. They've been pounding Henry on this drive. They've had success. Now the play action starts to work. They bring the tight end from the other side of the field, and they're able to take advantage of the poor eye discipline of Jared Wilson. Great play call. This is a great series for the play caller, Matt LaFleur.
Mariota has hit 11 of his last 12 attempts. 8th play of the drive that began at their own 25. Here is Henry. Hard collision at around the 12-yard line, and Deshaun Gibson had to come off the field a moment ago as Gerard Wilson is in, and we know that Jacksonville has played in this heat. They're used to it, but they've been on the field a long time in the second half.
It kind of reminds you a little bit of the last time these two teams played in this stadium. Remember, the Titans just kind of took over in that 4th quarter. And everything, as you've seen here, has started off having success on first down in the run game, and you see what that does for both the quarterback and the play caller as they try and get into a rhythm.
On 2nd and 5, here's Henry as they continue to lean on this defense. That was week 2 of last season when the Titans came here and blew the doors off of the Jaguars in the second half. They won it 37-16. Jacksonville has only lost one other game since then in this stadium. 7 straight wins, haven't lost here since week 6 of last season as Bortles helplessly looks on.
But look at this drive. You're at 6 minutes and 23 seconds and counting on this drive. Exactly what Mike Vrabel was looking for when his offense took the field.
Big 3rd and 3. Mariota rolls out, throwing end zone. It is caught but out of bounds. Corey Davis just running out of real estate. And now he and Jalen Ramsey jawing at each other. What a matchup between those two. Ramsey, the All-Pro last season, and Corey Davis, the 5th overall pick back in the 2017 draft. So here is Suckup, 28-yard chip shot to put Tennessee back in front. Two for 3 today is Suckup. And this one is good as the Tennessee Titans move back in front late on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Honda's family of SUVs, sized to fit your life. Verizon, the best unlimited is on Verizon, America's most awarded network. And by Sonic, this is how you Sonic.
A 28-yard chip shot by Ryan Suckup gets the Titans back in front. Another extended drive by Marcus Mariota, thrust into the quarterback position today after Blaine Gabbert went down with a concussion. Gabbert injured on the 2nd drive today for the Titans, if you've just joined us. And Marcus Mariota still not quite at full strength with that right elbow injury. Has really started to find his rhythm. And has Tennessee 3 points in front. Reminder coming up, State Farm postgame show. JB, Phil, Nate Boomer, and Coach Cower in New York. Take you around the NFL as week 3 continues. The State Farm postgame show is next. Well, the target line for Jacksonville right around the Tennessee 38. Longest career field goal from Josh Lambo, 56-yarder. And here's Blake Bortles as they begin from their own 25-yard line. Bortles going to run it, fooling that Tennessee front. We talked about the transformation for Blake Bortles really since the latter stages of last season as we have an injured defender on the play. But this is where Bortles has to put his team on his back.
Well, you're Blake Bortles. You've been 19 for 31 in this game. It's been sloppy in the passing game. You haven't been in sync. You've had some missed throws and some drops from your receivers. And you've seen Mariota go 12 plays, 65 yards. The time has to be now for Bortles and the Jaguars.
Injured player is Jayon Brown. Jayon Brown able to walk off the field on his own power. And we will keep tabs on him. Darren Bates has come in for the moment on a big 2nd and 2 here for Bortles and company from their own 32. Jaguars with all 3 timeouts and of course the 2-minute warning if they can keep this drive alive. Bortles steps up in the pocket, wrapped up, football is loose. Jacksonville able to recover as they avert disaster. Their center Brandon Linder able to fall on the football. 3rd sack for Tennessee.
And what a huge sack that it was. Dean Pease running a stunt to the other side, and Jarrell Casey again gets that ball out, and the Jaguars extremely fortunate that Brandon Linder was sitting right there to jump on the ball, but what a big-time play for Casey.
Or do they go here on 3rd and 6?
Keelan Cole has been his most trusted weapon here in the first part of the season.
Bortles again under pressure. Able to escape for a moment. He is short of the first down marker. Needed the 35 as Jacksonville's pass protection breaks down. Bortles does pick up 3, but they will punt.
We've talked about him quite a bit. Number 58, the second rounder, Harold Landry, getting around that edge, working on Jeremy Parnell. I mean, he blows past Parnell so fast that Bortles has zero chance to get rid of the ball.
They protected Bortles so well last week. It appeared as though a fair catch had been signaled, but it wasn't the case. Rashard Matthews pays for it as he is met. Hard collision at around the 23-yard line. Kind of flailed his left arm for a moment, but boy, they kept coming. There was Trey Herndon making first contact as DJ Chark was right behind them. What a game this has been. No touchdowns, no turnovers, by the way, either in this game. And look at Tennessee. Since 2016, one of the better teams in games decided by 3 points or less. We'll see if that carries through into the Mike Vrabel era.
This first down is absolutely critical for both teams.
Mariota will set up the little screen pass. This is Taylor. Ramsey wraps him up. It's a pickup of about 7 as the physical play continues between these two teams. Miles Jack was there as well.
That is such a huge first down. Everybody in the building thinks that they're going to give it to Derrick Henry off of that right side. They run a play action bootleg pass. And the fact that they're able to pick up 7 yards now, 2nd 3, really makes it hard for Doug Marrone and the Jacksonville Jaguars to try and stop the clock and preserve time before the 2-minute warning.
So Doug Marrone takes the first of his 3 timeouts with 2:34 to play and Jacksonville down 3. A reminder coming up, the State Farm postgame show from New York. JB standing by with the fellas on a busy week 3. Around the NFL, the State Farm postgame show is next.
Yeah, fully expect now to give it to Derrick Henry and run the football to get Doug Marrone to call another timeout.
Henry needs the 34. Is well short, picks up only a yard here. And Marrone takes his 2nd timeout.
Yeah, right now it's 3rd and 2. You've got to be geared up for a run because you've got to get them to call their other timeout. You do not want the clock to stop and force the punt. Now they could run play action, they could run a bootleg and allow Mariota to run it off the edge on his own. But you know, if you're Jacksonville, you've got to be geared up to stop the run, and Derrick Henry is on the sideline. Dion Lewis, the 5'9", 198-pound running back, is in the shotgun formation. Watch the zone read.
Read option, Mariota, first down and more. Everyone thinking Lewis, and it was Mariota. Barry Church finally on the tackle, 14 yards from Mariota.
Tough play. You know this is coming. They're not putting Derrick Henry in. You're going to give Mariota the option. Read the defense, make the right read. Telvin Smith cannot make the tackle at the line of scrimmage, and that was brilliantly played by Matt LaFleur and his quarterback, Mariota.
7 carries, 51 yards for Mariota, as Doug Marrone has taken his 3rd and final timeout.
But all that
2:26 left.
That was set up by the first down play and being creative and taking advantage of an aggressive Jacksonville defense, expecting you to run the football. They were able to execute, not only pick up 7 yards to set up 2nd 3, but it made Jacksonville burn a timeout knowing they only had 3 yards to defend before Tennessee was forced to punt.
Tennessee Titans, who actually swept Jacksonville last year, including that big 37-16 win here in week 2, looking for what would be a monstrous win on the road in the division. On first down, here is Lewis. Loses yardage on the play. And you just have to wonder about the stamina level of this Jacksonville defense. They have been on the field a whole lot, as we will get down to the 2-minute warning.
Your best chance of winning this game went out the window when you allowed Tennessee to pick up that first down.
2-minute warning in Jacksonville with Tennessee up by 3.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bud Light. Enjoyed by giant blue fictional knights everywhere. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Well, this Jacksonville Jaguars team, which looked so good last week, avenging that AFC Championship game loss to New England, right now helplessly looking on with Blake Bortles and the offense on the sideline, down 3, 2 minutes left against Tennessee. In another bruising game between these two teams in the AFC South. Mariota giving to Henry, bounces outside. Henry such a load to bring down, tackled by the 7th-round rookie Leon Jacobs. It's a pickup of 3 and another big third down coming up.
It's 3rd and 10, and no doubt they're going to keep this ball on the ground. Jacksonville might get this ball if they're able to stop them with, I don't know what, maybe just under a minute left, somewhere in that category, with 0 timeouts, but no chance that Matt LaFleur, the offensive coordinator, is going to put this ball in the air.
Career-long field goal for Ryan Suckup, a 54-yarder. Henry. We need the Jacksonville 42. It's a pickup of only 2. You see the play clock begin again. That gets him right around the 1-minute mark here, as they will run this clock down as much as they can with Jacksonville out of timeouts. Well, we'll have bonus coverage coming up right here on CBS. Miami and Oakland coming down to the finish with 3 and change left in Miami.
Things going pretty smoothly for John Gruden, huh?
Another day in the life of an NFL head coach, and a rude welcome back to Mr. Gruden. As Tennessee runs that play clock down, they do call for time, as that will be their first timeout taken with 25 seconds left.
30 seconds.
In this 4th quarter.
Boy, how about the job here in the second half for Tennessee? You know, Mike Vrabel, Matt LaFleur, Mariota, having to go in there at halftime with all of the things happening there in the first half to try and organize everything and come together for a plan of attack and to come out and execute and just do enough to grind out a 9-6 lead with 25 seconds left here in the 4th quarter. It was a hard fought game, but you've got to give your hat to Matt LaFleur for putting them in a position to try and move the ball and dominate here in the 4th quarter.
Jaguars coming with everything but the kitchen sink here to try to block this punt by Brett Kern. Fair catch signaled. And this will ricochet out of bounds right around the 13-yard line. 19 seconds left. Well-placed punt, 37 yards by Kern, and here comes Bortles. No timeouts left.
You might be able to get 3 plays if all the plays go out of bounds. If not, you're looking at 2 max. if the first play gets tackled inbounds and lets the time run off. Tough spot.
See the career long for Lambeau. That means the target line would be right around the Tennessee 38-yard line to get him inside of his range, or right on the edge of his range. But a tough predicament here for Bortles. No timeouts, 19 seconds left. All those passes, the little pitch back. Here's Yeldon. Couldn't have drawn that up any better. Out of bounds, stops the clock with 12 seconds.
Well, you've got a chance, but now you know that this ball has to go to the boundary and you have to get out of bounds. This has to be, you've got time for 2 quick strike throws out of bounds, and you've got to cover what, about 45 yards to have a chance to line up for a game-tying field goal.
The Bortles can only really go to the edges of the field here, sideline and sideline, without any timeouts. About 30 yards away to get into Lambeau's range. Bortles steps up, far side, it's incomplete. Intended for Safarian Jenkins as 4 seconds come off the clock.
So now if you're Tennessee, expect laterals, pitchbacks, throwbacks. Really probably your only option right now if you're Jacksonville. You just got to secure the tackle and run off the field and celebrate a hard-fought victory.
Eight seconds left. Bortles underneath to Yeldon. The little pitch back to Moncrief. Near side of the field, and that is a live football. Tennessee has recovered, and it is over. The Tennessee Titans recovering with Brian Orakpo as they come to Jacksonville and score a monstrous road win in the AFC South. Final score, Tennessee 9, Jacksonville 6. For Adam Archuleta, Spiro Ditas saying so long from Jacksonville. Coming up, the State Farm postgame show. We'll take you back to New York for all the scores right after this.